Welcome everyone. So in the previous video we saw how we can build a simple application that allows the user to select the model parameter. In this case these are the mass, the length and the friction coefficient. And then we have added a button with the callback function which allows to take these values from the edit fields right here and then to run the Simulink simulation directly from the application. Then we can get the output. So today what we're going to do is that we're going to build a small table right here which will allow the user to take one of the parameters to select the minimum, the maximum value and a step variation, and then to sweep the value of this parameter from the minimum to the maximum values, and then to execute several or multiple simulations, and then to output all the output of each simulation on the same plot using data inspector in Simulink. In fact, this could be very useful if we want, for example, to study the impact of the variation of one of the model parameters on the system output. Okay, so we'll start in the app designer. So first thing we need to add a table. So we can add a table right here. In this table we're going to select mainly three columns. So the first one will be minimum, the second one will be the maximum, and then it will be the step. We'll make it as editable so that the user can select values within this table, and then we'll select the row name as the mass. So in this example, this particular example, we'll consider that the user will be able to take the mass, to sweep the value of the mass between minimum and a maximum value, and then to see what will be the impact on the system dynamics in each simulation. Okay, so in the code view, first we need to select our application and to add a startup function. So we can add the startup function, and in this startup function what we need is to fill the default value of this table. And to do this we select app dot, so by default it's UI table, however I can change the name right here, so parameter sweep. Okay, then parameter sweep, and then I will take the data, I will set it to 0 for the minimum, 0 for the maximum, and 1 for the default step. So if you launch the application, we'll see that it will automatically create the table and fill the minimum, the maximum, and the step default values set in the startup function, which is called once the application is executed. Okay, so next we need to add another button as we did for the run simulation. So I'll take another button right here and I will call it, for example, data or mass sweep. Then, as we done for the run simulation button, I will add a callback function related to this button. So let's begin by taking the same inputs, preparing the input for our simulation. However, in this case we won't need to take the mass from the mass edit field, but what we are going to do instead, we'll start assigning the minimum value of the mass, which is equal to the app sweep, to our app sweep, and it will be the first row and the first column from the app sweep. I will do the same for the maximum value and for the step. So the maximum and then step. So the maximum will be the second column, the step will be the third column. Next, I need to define the array that will contain all the values starting from the minimum to the maximum with this particular mass step. So mass values, so mass values are equal to starting from mass minimum and using the mass step right here all along to the mass maximum. So at this level we have collected all the information, the minimum, the maximum, and the step, and then we have put all the information in an array called mass values. Next, I need to count the number of simulations that I will wish to run, which will be equal in this case to the length of this particular array. So the number of simulation will be equal to the length length of this array. Next, I need also to do the same right here. So I'll need to assign the model or define the model, then open the model. So again, I will do the same right here. However, this time I will need to do the same input preparation, however, for all my simulations. So to do this, I will define my input array starting, so it will be an array of a dimension number of simulations. So I will do this to all my variables right here. Okay. However, this time what I'm going to do is to define a for loop to execute all the simulations. So I'll start by defining the first simulation index. Then I will start with the for loop for I equal 1 number of simulations, and this particular for loop, each time what I need to do, need to take this input for this particular simulation, and then I will each time I will set the mass value equal to the respective mass value which I want to be executed in this simulation. So let's define the mass right here, which is equal the mass value for the same index which is contained in this array. So for example, if the mass minimum is 3 and the mass maximum is 5 and the step is 1, so the first time I will prepare my first simulation with the minimum mass which is equal to 3. So I will start by preparing the mass for the simulation equal to 3. Then I will need to execute the simulation using this particular input set right here. Next, I will need to load. So this time I will only plot it, and the next video I will show you how to use the data inspector. So let's plot in our case. So I'll need to plot the index, so the output of the simulation. So I will take the ATT. So the ATT, which is the output which is a time series containing information about theta, d theta, and time of the simulation. So I will take the ATT, and then I will take the theta, I will take the time on the x-axis, and then I will do the same. However, now I will select the plot, the data or the theta information for this particular simulation. Then I will need to select the first column, which contains in fact the information about this theta variable. Next, I will need to do a hold on to plot all the information using the same on the same plot. Okay, so now my code is ready. I can save and execute the code, and let's try to use our new feature. Okay, so this time I'll start from 5 to 3 to 5, and then okay, let's start from 1 to 5. So this will execute in fact 5 simulation starting from 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we can do a mass sweep. Oops, we have a problem right here. Okay, I will need to remove this line in fact. Then I will need to execute again my simulation. Okay, let's start now. Okay, the first time, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and then we'll get all the information on the same plot. Thank you everybody. Don't forget to subscribe and to like the video, and see you next time. Thank you.